I'm back. Rodrance for Black and White Network. Well, we're going to talk about something that I think is becoming more prevalent in the country. We're seeing it more and more. That's, of course, the abolishing, and I hate to use that word, but that's, in my opinion, what a section of the country is trying to do is the abolishing of Christianity, the downsizing, downplaying. We've seen that religious beliefs have been plummeting, and they have really plummeted in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. I've seen different graphs out there. And, of course, we're seeing the rise of the LGBTQ religion. And, yeah, it's something like that. I don't know what it is. They want you to worship at the altar of the alphabet. Simply not going to happen. But we've seen things like this or akin to this occasionally. And, of course, we have been seeing corporations wrapping their loving arms around this ideology and pushing it. Anheuser-Busch, congratulations. Your business is shit now. And, of course, Target, Kohl's, North Face, the list goes on and on. We've seen it a lot. And it's now seeping its way into places like Best Buy. Now, Best Buy, it seems, fired an employee because he was a Christian, and he's saying they discriminated against him. And they chose to wrap their loving arms around the LGBTQ ideology, and he was out of a job. So this should be pretty scary to everybody, especially if you live in the Midwest, if you live here in the southern parts of the United States. You know, we're in the Bible Belt. A lot of us are at least believers, I would say. You know, I may go back. I may show up on church on Sunday to repent for some of my activities on Saturday, but nobody's perfect, okay? So anyway, point is, you get what I'm saying, right? Let's get to this. Daily Wire, giant tech company Best Buy allegedly fired an employee after audio recorded conversations at a Florida location between the worker and a manager revealed potential religious discrimination in the workplace while promoting preference for the LGBTQ community. Quote, "My family fled religious persecution in Serbia, so I could live my life as a Christian without being persecuted for my beliefs, yet that is exactly what is happening." Are you kidding me? He leaves Serbia, comes here, and he gets persecuted for his religious beliefs here in the United States. I'm going to be interested to see, and I always go into these videos, oh, it's in Florida. It's in Florida? What? Oh, man, that's crazy. Enos Sujak, a former Best Buy employee and Geek Squad member, wrote on a Give, Send, Go page, on September 1st, 2023, Best Buy terminated my employment, so just 4 days ago, because I stood firm against workplace discrimination based on my religion, and I exercised my right to be a Christian. Sujak, a Serbian immigrant living in Jacksonville, Florida, recently exposed a recorded conversation with his manager to investigative journalist James O'Keefe for his O'Keefe Media Group. During the conversation, Sujak asked his manager, Mike Hirsch, why LGBTQ flags are appropriate in the office, but Christian crosses were prohibited, after he walked out of an employee session about the history of the LGBTQ community in the workspace given by a, quote, well-being ambassador. Why is that being talked about in the workplace at all, folks? We are talking about preferences. That's it. Okay, keep in mind, we're talking about a preference. Wow. Instead of a hetero preference, we're getting the other preference. Quote, let's have the cross all over the hub. Why don't we have Christian stuff all over? Question mark. Quote, they're not the same as the pride flags. Hirsch allegedly replied, adding, you are choosing to believe in Christianity. They, the LGBTQ plus community, don't choose it. Are we sure about that? Question mark. Just wondering. Inquiring minds would love to know. Do you have some scientific absolute proof behind this? And even if you, these days, when it comes to science, a lot of it, I'm not believing in that either, frankly. Let's just be real. Because even science now has a left-wing lean to it. Don't believe me? COVID is coming back. Yeah. I mean, come on. Sujak told O'Keefe he had a long conversation with his manager about woke-appropriate symbols. Quote, it was like an hour and 30 minutes of he and I just going back and forth with him telling me that it was work-appropriate to have all of this LGBTQ stuff going on in the office and everywhere else, Sujak said, but it's not okay for me to, be a Christian myself and have a Bible right over there. That's right there at the office, or a cross, or a Quran, or anything like that. That's not work appropriate, he added. But having LGBTQ pride flag everywhere else, that is work appropriate, and I wasn't standing for that. Good job, dude. The company's website says it's committed to equal employment opportunity policies. Best Buy will not discriminate based on the basis of age, sex, race, color, creed, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, national origin, alienage, or citizenship, disability, marital status, military or veteran status, or any other legally recognized protected basis under federal, state, or local law, regulations, or ordinances, the statement reads. Our management is dedicated to ensuring fulfillment of this policy. When necessary, we will reasonably accommodate employees and applicants with disabilities and with religious requirements necessitating accommodation. Wow. Sujak said on his Give, Send, Go page that he retained a constitutional attorney, Mike Yoder, and plans to file a civil rights lawsuit against Best Buy for allegedly violating his right to be free from workplace discrimination based on religion, gender, and sexual orientation. In no way have I ever argued that anyone who differs in religion, gender, or sex should be treated differently. Rather, all I wanted was to be treated the same and have my beliefs respected equally. Bravo. Sujak marks the second Best Buy whistleblower to approach O'Keefe Media Group about alleged discrimination in the workplace. According to an investigative outlet, a memo from the retail giant revealed the retail giant created a program, that's right, same kind of thing as NASCAR, a program that is only available to employees who identify as Black, Latino, Hispanic, Asian, or Pacific Islander. You know what that means? No white boys, no white girls. This program is not open to white applicants. It literally says that. There's the O'Keefe Media Group right there. I mean, you want to talk about discrimination, racism? Hello, McFly, is anybody home? Best Buy has not issued a statement involving either employee. They should be sued to the depths of Hades for both things, by the way. That's crazy. Guys, this is where we're going. If people don't start suing, if people don't start hitting these corporations extremely hard in their pocketbooks, and I'm not talking about one, I'm talking about hundreds of these kind of lawsuits have to come out. And they have to come out. They have to be public. The mainstream media is not going to touch this with a 1,000-foot pole. They're not going to touch it. It's going to be your independent news sources that are going to cover this, or channels like us on YouTube or on Rumble. But this stuff needs to be very, very, very vividly public. In much the same way as they created an entire month for somebody's preferences. This is unbelievable. It's unacceptable. All right? And it makes me wonder, I will say this, and I was talking about the decline in Christianity that we've seen in various polling, and unfortunately it's most of the younger people. It does make me wonder if a lot of Christians are afraid, even in a survey, to now admit said Christianity. Is that a thing that's happening? You know, I mean, let's be real. There's some religious persecution going on, as we've seen right here, but in everyday life now, I believe. Too quiet. We've seen it. Sports, right? L.A. Dodgers, Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence as part of Pride celebration. Yeah, they come back and was like, oh, but we're having Christian night. Yeah, at the urging of said Christian on your team, Clayton Kershaw. If it hadn't have been for the blowback and the fireback that created, and that was a massive story on the Big Sports Channel, I don't know that anything would have happened there. You would have had Pride, and then they would have ignored Christians completely. Wow. That's crazy. That's absolutely bananas. Very interested to see what you guys think about this. I think people have to be hyper aware of this now. That somebody could literally lose their gig for being a Christian? I mean, what? And that's, folks, I understand that's a corporation. But if you just want to get down to like local politics and things like that, that's Florida. That's Ron DeSantis' Florida. That wasn't New York. That wasn't Illinois. That wasn't, we're not talking Chicago. We're not talking New York City. We're not talking LA. We're not talking San Francisco, Seattle, Portland, all the standard operating radical leftist. Jacksonville, Florida. Keep your head on a swivel these days. If it doesn't smell right, it's probably not right. Peace, I'm out. Till next time.